Number 479 was called. $479. I was out on the Broadway of sin and despair, crushed neath my burden of sorrow and care. My constant companions were trouble and doubt, till Jesus reached down and lifted me out. He lifted me out of the deep miry clay. He settled my feet in the straight narrow way. He lifted me up to a heavenly place and flooded my soul each day with His grace. I was wandering afar from my Savior and home, fainting and weary in sin did I roam. I needed a hand to turn me about. Then Jesus reached down and lifted me out. He lifted me out of the deep miry clay. He settled my feet in the straight narrow way. He lifted me up to a heavenly place and flooded my soul each day with His grace. I was building my home on the dry, shifting sand, casting my lot in a cold, barren land. You're doomed now for I heard Satan shout, but Jesus reached down and lifted me out. He lifted me out of the deep miry clay. He settled my feet in the straight narrow way. He lifted me up to a heavenly place and flooded my soul each day with His grace. I have started for heaven, my heart filled with song. Wandering is over, my sins all are gone. Through Jesus' own blood, cleansed within and without. Oh, praise His dear name. He lifted me out. He lifted me out of the deep miry clay. He settled my feet in the straight narrow way. Lifted me up to a heavenly place and flooded my soul each day with His grace. Number 480. When Jesus comes again to gather His own into the true, a crown is given. I want to hear Him say, my servant, well done, thy soul shall know the joys of heaven. I want to know that He will welcome me there. I do not want to be denied. want to tell to all the story of love, that they may know his pardon free, and there before his throne in glory above receive a crown of victory. I want to know that he will welcome me there. I do not want to be denied. I want to meet him in that city, so fair and ever there with him abide. He's coming back again, his jewels to claim, they shall receive eternal rest. 'Tis sweet to know that all who come in his name shall there be numbered with the blessed. I want to know that he will welcome me there. I do not want to be denied. I want to meet him in that city, so fair and ever there with him abide. I do not know the day my Savior will come, but I must be prepared to go. If I am ready, he will call me his own, and that's enough for me to know. I want to know that he will welcome me there. I do not want to be denied. I want to meet him in that city, so fair and ever there with him abide. Number 130. Forward, forward is the battle cry. Onward, onward to our home on high. We will conquer, for the Lord or die. The foes retreating, press the battle on. Strengthened by the mighty power of heaven, we shall conquer, we shall conquer. 189. Walking through life's dark shady valley, walking with Jesus day by day, crossing the veil through death's cold alley. He will be with me all the way. Keep me aloof from harm and danger, trusting thy grace while here I stay. I am a pilgrim and a stranger. Help me to humbly watch and pray. I am a pilgrim and a stranger. Help me to humbly watch and pray. If the sun shine, my heart is cheerful. If the clouds come, I can rejoice. Help me, O Lord, to ever be thankful. I have, like Mary, made the wise choice. Precious Redeemer, keep me faithful by thine own strength and grace I stand. Help me do right and live more grateful. Soon I shall reach the shining strand. Help me do right and live more grateful. Soon I shall reach the shining strand. Welcome the storm, my hope is abounding. Let the waves come, my anchor is sure, fixed in the rock on which I am standing. How can I fall when all is secure? Wonderful peace in thee I'm possessing, victory through Christ I ever shall sing. Let the rain fall in showers of blessing, homage and praise to thee I would bring. Let the rain fall in showers of blessing, homage and praise to thee I would bring.
Thank the Lord for worship service again this evening. Everyone who's present here with us, home folks, visitors from neighboring congregations, and visitors from the community. Hope every one of you receive a benefit to your soul in being here. That's the purpose of these services. And when it's time to take the prayer requests, well, I think this way. I remember
Savior, draw me close to thee. Keep me, dear Savior, so near thy side. Draw me close to thee. Sing it with us. Savior, draw me close to thee. Savior, draw me close to thee. Keep me, dear Savior, so near thy side. Draw me close to thee. Good evening. I want you to remember JLY. It's not the abbreviation for July. It simply says, Jesus loves you. There came a sound from heaven as a rushing mighty wind. It filled their hearts with singing and gave them peace within. The prophet gave this promise: the Spirit will descend, and from your inner being a river without end. There is a river that flows from God above. There is a fountain that's filled with His great love. Come to this water. There is a vast supply. There is a river that never shall run dry. There was a thirsty woman who was drawing from a well. Her life was filled with sorrow. Her soul was bound for hell. Then she met the Master, who told of her great sin. And if you drink this water, you'll never thirst again. There is a river that flows from God above. There is a fountain that's filled with His great love. Come to this water. There is a vast supply. There is a river that never shall run dry. There is a river that flows from God above. There is a fountain that's filled with His great love.
water. There is a vast supply. There is a river that never shall run dry.
It could be easy to preach a gospel message after that, doesn't it? Let's give some. All right. Dream. There's other people who are not here who see what you're doing tonight. So
Okay. I'll just step to the side for what I need to do. Okay.
well, look right up there, Brother Gene. See that camera?
Well, we weren't wishing for that, but here we go. Have you failed in life's battle to accomplish your plans? Is your heart heavy laden? Do you fear the Lord's command? Do you feel that no one loves you and there's no use to try? Just bring your cares to Jesus, your soul He'll satisfy.
Pick up the broken pieces and bring
them to the Lord. Pick up the broken pieces, trust in His holy word. He will put them back together and make your life complete. Just place the broken pieces at the Savior's feet. You may feel that there's no hope. Broken hearts just cannot mend. Though you're torn
in many pieces, Christ can make you whole again. Storms of doubt blow all directions, but don't you be afraid. God can make all corrections. He made a body out of clay. Pick up the broken pieces and bring them to the Lord. Pick up the broken pieces, trust in His holy word. He will put them back together and make your life complete. Just place the broken pieces at the Savior's feet.
thank you, folks. Let's give space for the gospel.
I surely appreciate those songs tonight. Brother and Sister Fields preached my message for me, so I guess I'll try to back up the best I can. Both of those songs, I'm sure, encouraged. I've written on the board, don't give up. Thankful to be together again tonight. The week has nearly passed us by. But after hearing those two songs this evening, I don't believe that the Lord is quite done. I believe that the Lord has something special for, I hope, all of us tonight. Together we've been reading and exploring the Word of the Lord for a number of nights now. And I want you to know that I personally feel very challenged by the Word of the Lord. And when I read the Word of the Lord and contemplate it, and then I look in the mirror and see my life, I see a lot of gaps. And I see a lot of places where I need help. Places that are broken. And I know tonight that I know very well tonight that I have not spiritually arrived. I'm not there yet. And I suspect this evening that neither are you. But with the challenge and the conviction that the gospel brings, all through the gospel, I find hope and so much to be encouraged about. There's reason to pick up and go on. We heard about there is a river that flows from deep within. There is a fountain. And as they were singing that song, it just seemed like I saw a river and a place for me that no one could take. It was all for me. The Lord had prepared it in a way that no one else could crowd me out. And that those broken places in my heart and in my life, and the places where I'm disappointed in myself, and where the Lord, where I know He's disappointed but also has a plan for me, that there's a place at the river that the Lord has carved out that no one else can take, that when I find myself in those broken places, and when I feel darkness around and I don't taste or experience life, I can go to the river. And there's a place for me to go that I can drink. And I can drink until I'm satisfied. And it's water that is different than what the world gives. It's water that only Jesus Christ can give. And there's a fountain that He has available for us that flows from within. It's not an emotional experience that we can go have somewhere out on the town and we feel good, but then when we come home at night, it goes away. No, the Lord has a fountain for us that flows from within. And if we'll come and we'll drink of that fountain, that there is hope for us. And my message tonight is, if there's anyone here that is discouraged, if there's anyone here that has found yourself resigned to feeling like that hope, the hope of the gospel, in a particular area of your life, maybe you feel like you're saved. Maybe it's not that you feel like you're lost, but maybe there's a place in your life that you feel like that you're just resigned, that the hope of the gospel has passed you by in that area of your life. And my message to you this evening is, don't give up. Don't give up. There's still a river. There is still a place where there is a fountain of water that satisfies the need that perhaps tonight you feel resigned, that there is no hope anymore. That is the enemy telling you that. And sometimes we can go for years and face experience after experience after experience and come to the place where we believe there's no hope for me anymore in this. I believe I'm saved. I've heard the hope of the gospel preached. I've seen other people look like they get a hold of something for themselves. But in this particular area, I don't feel like there's hope anymore. There is hope in Jesus tonight. And sometimes He wants to get us to the place where we understand that we are at the bottom in our own strength. And sometimes it takes years for the Lord to get us to the place where we finally say, I can't do anything about it. There are places about me I can't do anything about it. I've tried this and I've tried this, and it's hopeless. And the only way I'm going to get anywhere in my life is if Jesus Christ does something for me in a divine way. And the good news that I bring you tonight, Jesus wants to do something divine for you this evening. All the water is still flowing. Jesus Christ is still alive. He's still sitting on His throne. He is still working. He still wants to do great things for you in your life so that you can raise your hand and point back to that Ebenezer stone and know that Jesus passed by my way and I've never been the same since. Thank the Lord. We read, or we talked about a couple of nights ago, about when the disciples heard what was required to follow Jesus. And we read about where Jesus had described, if you want to follow me, you're going to have to eat of my flesh and drink of my blood. And I don't know what all He said that day, but I know that in life sometimes, that when we began to look at the way of the Christian, or to take it even farther, we began to read in the Scriptures and we see the promises that are in the Word for the followers of God. We can get to the place where we just think, I just don't see how I can do it. I just don't understand. It just seems like a hard saying for me. It seems like a hard saying that I can experience the joy of the Lord in my life. It seems like a hard thing that given my background, given what I've been through, given the pain and the hurt and the scars that I have, I just don't see how I can live a life where I have the joy of the Lord in me. I don't see how I can pick up that cross. I'm not sure how I can deny myself over here. And many of the disciples that followed Him, it said that they turned and they walked with Him no more. But where did they go? Where is there to turn? If you turn away from life, what are you turning to? Jesus Christ is life. I think sometimes maybe we feel like, well, I'm not necessarily turning to anything. I just feel like I'm resigned in my life. I'm going to still try to follow the Lord, but I'm just resigned to to an absence of peace. I just feel like I'm going to live for the Lord, but I feel like I'm going to have to limp along. I'm not trying to turn away from you. It's just that it seems like some of these other things are too big for me to get my heart around and my mind around and my hands around. And my lot in life is to be a Christian that's lame, that isn't able to run with a spark in your step. Lord, I'm willing to follow you, but I don't expect a blue ribbon at the end. Lord, if I can just get a participation trophy and be able to make it through the gates, Lord, I'll be happy. Listen tonight. We are serving the captain of the Lord of hosts. We are serving a God that has all power in heaven and in earth. And it is a God who is able to give us abundantly, exceedingly above all that we ask or think. We have to be willing to open our eyes to it. We have to be willing to run and give our all. Don't give up. Don't resign yourself and say, I can't do it. I'll walk. I'll plod. I'll limp. But I don't see how I'm going to be able to run. And so we just give up. Don't give up tonight. I remember when I was in school and it came time in PE class to run. Did anybody have to run? Were you forced to run? We were forced to run. We had to run at a certain time of the year, and it wasn't the 50 or 100-yard dash. We're talking, they might go easy on you and start off with a half mile, and then it went up from there, and it might end with a couple of miles. And I remember there were always these people that it seemed like they were able to run effortlessly. And they weren't worried about the run. They were smiling before the run took place. We're going to run 2 miles. Let's run 2 miles. They were built to run. You know, sometimes we look around at other people and it just seems like they're just built to be a Christian. They're just built to run. They're just built for success for this. It's just easier for them. And it seems like sometimes they just go and they just seem like they finish and it's not a problem. And then I remember there was others that maybe the middle, the majority, they'd get out there and we, because that was me, I wasn't the one that was built to run. I was built to run short distances, not long distances. And it was going to be a pull for me. But we'd get out there and run. But did you know that there was another group of people? And they gave up before the run ever started. There was always that group of people that you looked at them and they didn't even try. They started off just walking. Oh, they might jog for just a little bit and then they'd stop and laugh and talk. They gave up from the very beginning because they didn't feel like it was within them to run. But I want to tell you about somebody. That was years ago now, but I have a picture in my mind that I just wonder if the Lord put in my mind way back then. It was a girl that I'm telling you was not built to run. Let me just put it that way. She was not built to run, but that girl gave it her heart. That girl, she wasn't going to finish first. She wasn't going to finish in the middle. She was going to be towards the last. But I remember she had a red face. She was breathing hard. She was a girl that didn't have a lot of friends. But she was giving it her all. And I always respected that. And in my mind, she won the race. She was the one that won the race. She was like the widow that put in 2 mites. She didn't give up. She didn't resign herself to say, well, I can't do this. I'll just go to the back. No, she gave it her all. And did you know that that's what the Lord wants us to do tonight? He doesn't want you to give up. He doesn't want you to look at the places in your life and you look at yourself and you say, I can't do this. I'm not built for this. I just know other people are better suited for this. The Lord is not comparing you against other people. And the Lord doesn't want you to compare yourself against other people. The enemy wants you to look at other people and give up before you ever even start. He would like to discourage us and look at the others and say, I can't run this race, and just quit before we ever start. Jesus Christ is the one that wants to carry us through life. He's the one that we're running the race with. Oh, tonight, let's be encouraged not to give up. We've probably all found places in life today, tonight. We face mountains, and they look too big for us to climb. And they are. They're too big for us to climb by ourselves. And sometimes we look at those places, though, and we say, you know what, I've already tried that, and I can't do it. And I tried it a second time, and I'm not able to do it. Maybe we find places that we've repeatedly failed in. Have you ever repeatedly failed in anything? Have you ever repeatedly failed as a Christian? I'm not talking about cutting a piece of wood just right or sewing something that looks just right. Have you tried to do something for the Lord and just simply failed? You say, well, I'm going to try it again. And you failed again. And did you know that sometimes we just, figuratively speaking, we fall to the ground and it's like we give up. We turn away from things that drew us. And then we found out I can't do that acceptably in our own eyes. Oh, I wanted a relationship over here, but the relationship fell apart. I'm not going to give my heart again like that. Oh, I trusted over here, but it didn't turn out like I thought it was going to. And I gave myself to it. I trusted in it, and it didn't turn out. I'm not going to invest myself like that again. I'll live for the Lord. I worshiped over here, and I worshiped with my heart, but it just seemed like I left, and I didn't find the joy. I just don't feel like I can go there again. Have you been there? These are real places that we find ourselves in life. And a lot of times they can leave us physically present and completely emotionally absent and hurting, and disappointed in ourselves, and wondering what the next step is for us. I want you to know it's not an uncommon experience. And I want you to know that the people that in your eyes look like they are just built to run, that they are just good at it. They smile while they do it. If only they knew how it was for me. I want to tell you that those people aren't always smiling on the inside. And they have their own battles, and they have their own trials, and the Lord wants us to get our eyes off of them. The Lord wants us to lift up our eyes, and He wants us to look to Jesus. Well, where does it leave us if we find that we have failed over and over? Well, it depends. It depends on you. It depends on what you want to do next, and how willing you are for the Lord to work in your life. We spoke the other night about the battle that the Israelites lost at Ai. We didn't read it. But when you read that story, Joshua and the Israelites failed, and Joshua got down on his face in the dirt. And he had dust in his hair. And he rent his clothes. And he felt despair. Have you ever done that? Well, I haven't put dust in my hair and I haven't rent my clothes. I have been down on the ground before. But I have felt despair. And I have figuratively felt like I had dust in my hair and my clothes were rent. And I was face down in the dirt. And that's where Joshua was. And perhaps that's where you are tonight. They had failed. They lost a battle they shouldn't have lost. They didn't know why they lost it. Many of them thought they were doing what they were supposed to do, but they failed anyway. They were trying to do their best. Didn't know what they would do if they had it to do over again. But the Lord came along, and the first thing he said was, "What are you doing with your face in the ground? Arise." He didn't give them all the answers first. He didn't say everything's going to be okay. The first thing he said was, "Get up. What are you doing down here with your face in the dirt?" And he had the answer for them. And the first thing was, "Get up." And he told it to them more than once. You read down a little bit further, and he just used one word. He said, "Up." And I believe tonight the Lord wants to start by telling us, if you're down and you're discouraged, and you feel like there's no hope in your life, in a particular area, I'm not talking about you feel like you're not saved tonight. That may be the case too. But you know where the enemy likes to get us? Where he doesn't tell us you're not saved. I'm just going to take your peace. You can be saved. I won't necessarily battle you directly with that, but I'm going to come in a side door over here and I'm going to steal your peace. And I'm going to make you think that you're going to have to live life like that. You don't have to live life like that. If you are willing to get up, like the Lord gave direction to Joshua, and you're willing to brush off your knees and square your shoulders and look to Jesus, he has something special for you tonight. There is a scripture in the 138th Psalm in the 8th verse. The psalmist said, "The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me." Thank the Lord. The Lord will finish the work. That's what that means. The Lord will finish the work that he started in me. He's not going to bid us come, and then when we fall, say, "Oh, well, you're not who I thought you were. You're not built for this. I thought you might be somebody different," and go on his way. When the Lord calls us to come, he's with us all the way to the end if we'll let him. The Lord will definitively perfect, finish the work. And what does it say? It says, "Thy mercy, O Lord, endureth forever." All of us here today have faced circumstances that are bigger than we are, and from a failure standpoint, there's not a one of us in here that has a market in that, a corner on that market. All of us have failed. We read about Paul, self-declared chief of sinners. He received probably the worst accusation from God that you could almost get while you're living, and that was, "Why are you persecuting me?" He was killing God's people. He was putting Christians in prison. Have you done that yet? I haven't done that, but I still need a lot of help. And when the Lord came along and he said, "Paul, why? Why is it this way in your life?" And Paul, he was down on the ground. And the Lord had a message for him too. It was, "Get up, arise." That is his message for you tonight. Get up, arise. And he didn't just tell Paul to arise, but he told him to go. He had a mission for him. He had a work for him to do. Folks, God has a work for you to do this evening. He has a special place for you. And he can't accomplish the work that he wants you to accomplish for him if we stay on the ground. And we resign ourselves to failure and darkness and absence of hope, and let the Spirit of the Lord be taken from us because we push him out with all of the fear and the darkness that we let in. The Spirit of God is light. And if we start shutting it off and start looking inward at ourselves and not looking up at Jesus Christ, we are going to start to feel darkness. But if we will be willing to take our eyes off of ourselves, take our eyes off of our own weaknesses, our past, our failures, all the ways about us that we look at and say, you're not built to run this Christian race, and get our eyes on Jesus, He is in the business of perfecting us. He has streams of water that He wants to bid us come drink of, not once, many times through our lives. He has fountains of water that He wants to come out of our souls as we humble ourselves before Him and say, Lord, it's not about me, it's about You. Lord, would You allow Your perfect work to be done in my life? And I want to add a note here, folks. God is concerned about you. He loves you. He wants to help you. But He wants to use you to help other people too. What would have happened if Paul would have just got real intimate with the dust and the dirt and just stayed down there? And the Lord said, arise, Paul, get up. I have a mission for you. I have something for you. What would have happened if he would have just turned in on himself and began to grieve so much for all that he had done wrong and persecuting the people of God, and just allowed darkness to come in and fear of what was going to happen to me in the end? What would have happened? Look at all of the books of the Bible that the Lord worked through Paul that has reached us tonight. And I want to tell you this evening, the Lord wants to do something with your life too. You are special. You're not just a middle of the pack runner. You're not just someone that well, did they cross the finish line? We already went inside. The real runners already came in. Is there anybody else out there? The Lord has a work for you to do, and He wants us to take responsibility that when we fall, not to give up, but to arise and let the power of the Lord work in our lives. That's what He wants to do for us. Jonah got to the place where he looked at what the Lord was calling him to do. He got afraid and he said, no way, no how. And he went the other way, scared of what was before him. I can't do that. Don't know why I was called to do that. That it's not in me to be able to do that. I'll just get over there to Nineveh and get killed. Those people completely not giving God His due and allowing the Lord to do the work. And so he ran, and pretty soon he got on a boat and straightway went down in the depths of the boat and went to sleep and took himself out of action. And in the meantime was affecting a whole bunch of other people. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. The shipmaster came down there and he said, Jonah, what meanest thou? Why are you down here? And then he said some of the most profound words that I don't think he realized were as profound as they were. He told him, he said, arise and call upon thy God. And that is exactly what the Lord wants us to do today. He wants us to get up. He wants us to take responsibility. He wants us to call upon our God and trust Him to give us the increase. That's what He wants to do in our lives. I feel like the enemy of our soul works overtime to get us to walk in places of darkness. He is working to steal the peace of the people of God. And I am weary and I am tired of seeing honest souls be manipulated by the enemy of fear and darkness. And you know why I'm so weary of it? Because I've experienced it. It's because I know what that's like. Not that you think you're not saved, maybe. Sometimes we question that. We worry ourselves to death. Are we saved? God is a God of light. He's not a God of darkness. And He comes to give us deliverance from those places that just seem like grip us and take the joy of our salvation. Tonight, is there somebody here that knows what I'm speaking of? Are you in that place tonight? Is someone here in the place where you have things in your life and in your background and things that it seems like they're always coming up before your eyes? And it's not good. It's fear. It's darkness. It's bondage. It's weights that's pulling us down. The Lord wants to deliver us from that tonight. The Lord wants us to join the number of the now happy people that did whatever it took to reach Jesus in those things. Could we review them again? Blind Bartimaeus, all he saw was darkness. I can relate with some of that. Sometimes you can just see darkness. You don't see anything else. Blind Bartimaeus, he just saw darkness. Oh, but then he heard about a man named Jesus. And he thought, maybe that's the answer. Jesus is coming by. And so he started to step out and he called out, Jesus, Jesus. And people said, Bartimaeus, whoa, your place is over here. You're blind. Remember, you see darkness in this area. Here's your spot on the curb. You need to come back to where you belong. You've been down this road a few times, Bartimaeus. You're not 5 anymore. You're a grown man. This is your place. But instead of going back to his place, blind Bartimaeus cried the louder, Lord Jesus, have mercy on me. And Jesus stopped and he said, bring him to me. Bring him to me. Come forward. I got some water. I got a fountain that I want to impart to him. And he went and he drank of the water after all those years of being in darkness. Folks, you may have been in darkness for many years thinking there is no hope. Tonight there is hope in Jesus Christ. Thank the Lord. He has the answer to the darkness that you may be feeling. Maybe you're lame in your life and you feel like, Lord, I'm a Christian, but this thing, it's a weight and it's a bondage and I'm just lame in this area. Oh, there was a lame man that they said, I'm going to go see Jesus. I've heard about it. And they brought the lame man to where Jesus was. And when they got there, the door was plugged full. They couldn't get in. But they didn't let that stop them. They didn't give up. They went through the roof. Are you willing to go through the roof tonight? Do you want victory over that place in your life that's caused you to be lame and crippled? Absence of hope. The Lord tonight wants to heal you. He wants to raise you up. The man came down through the roof and he wasn't concerned about what everybody else thought. The enemy likes to just keep us out there. Don't come forward. You're going to cause a stir. People are going to see you. Yes, they will. But if you meet Jesus, it's okay for people to see you. If you meet Jesus, Jesus wants to meet you tonight. And the lame man went away from there, not on a stretcher, but he went away in his own strength, walking and running and jumping, praising the Lord because he didn't give up and he came to see Jesus. Thank the Lord. The woman with the issue of blood, same thing. Tried everything she knew to do just like we do. We try this and we try that. We try this other thing to no avail. And every single time we just get more and more discouraged. Each time it doesn't work. And then we just throw up our hands. Lord, I'm going to try to follow you. But this thing over here. But she went to see Jesus and she got there and there was the press. There were the people again. Why is it people that always slow us down from getting to Jesus? Don't let people slow you down from getting to Jesus. Don't let people slow you down from getting to the altar, of bowing at your pew. Don't let people slow you down from getting a drink of living water that Jesus Christ has for you tonight. Be willing to push through the press like she did. She pushed through the press and touched Jesus. and the fountain of living water went out of him and into her. And he stopped and he said, who touched me? People said, what are you talking about? Jesus, who touched you? There's people all around you. No, who touched me? Who came to me with their heart? There was some faith, some virtue just went out of me. Folks, tonight, if you'll be willing to push through the press, Jesus has something for you that you've never had before. Be willing to do it. Zacchaeus climbed a tree. If you have to climb a tree. Listen, the thief on the cross, it looked like there was no more hope. What was he going to do to earn his salvation? He was getting ready to die. He had his hands in the cross. He was a sinner. Oh, but that day, he looked over and for his heart went out to Jesus. Lord, would you remember me? Would you remember me when you go into your kingdom? And the Lord looked over at him, just waiting for the opportunity to allow his blood to flow and give somebody life that didn't deserve life. And the life went from Jesus Christ to the man on the cross. And I'm looking forward to talking to that thief on the cross when I get to heaven. I want to hear what he has to say. Oh, folks, tonight, don't feel like that you are an exception to this message. Do not let the enemy tell you. If you are here tonight, and you've been here throughout the course of the meeting, and you have heard things that have touched your heart, the Lord has passed by and spoken to you perhaps, and then the enemy comes in here at the last. That's not for you. That's for everybody else. You know yourself. You know you. So did Bartimaeus. So did the blind man. So did the lame man. So did the person with the issue of blood. So did the thief on the cross. And yet in every single instance, when they came and they didn't give up, even at the 11th hour, Jesus Christ was there to give them what they needed. Thank the Lord. I'd like to conclude this evening in the 4th chapter of Luke. I want to read to you what Jesus Christ came to do. It said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Oh, Jesus Christ stood up in the temple. Oh, if we could have been there that day. The presence of the Spirit of God was in that place. And Jesus stood up and he opened up where it said in Isaiah, and he began to read. Listen, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. Are you poor? Are you poor in spirit? Jesus Christ came to preach to you tonight. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted. Are you brokenhearted? Is there a place that has been hurting you for years? Jesus Christ came to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives. Are you in captivity to something? That's why Jesus Christ came. Recovering of sight to the blind. You just feel like you don't have a vision and your eyes are clouded and you just can't get a hold of what Jesus Christ wants to give you. Jesus Christ came to give recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. No one left out. Everybody included. That includes me. It includes you. And if you're here tonight and you have a desire in your heart to taste some of that water, if you have a desire in your heart to reestablish with God, Lord, count me in. Lord, I'm all in. Oh, if you're here tonight and you have experienced ongoing and perpetual darkness in your spirit, and fear and doubt, and they dog you and nip at your heels, and you never can quite get away from it, in the fear of God tonight, don't give up. Don't give up. Come to Jesus. Look to the Master. I believe tonight that the Lord wants to take the night and turn it to morning this evening. to those who are willing to reach out to the Son. Are you willing? Do you want deliverance? Do you want an experience that you have not before had? Jesus Christ is offering an open invitation to come and to bow. We sing a song, number 408, in our hymnal. And it says, now, not tomorrow, not next week. Lord, you've passed by my way. You've touched my spirit. Lord, you've identified a place in my life that I'd like victory over. Now I come. I come to the altar. I come to pray at your pew where you're sitting. That's okay too. Lord, now I come, my Lord and my Savior, humbly kneeling at thy feet, sharing in all thy richest favor, full salvation, pure and sweet. Don't give up this evening. Oh, this evening, if you'll allow him, if you'll invite him, I believe tonight the Lord is standing by. And he wants to fill your soul with living water. Could we stand and sing 408?